The wife of a lobsterman shared a photograph with our media partner WMTW that shows a 20-pound lobster that her husband caught today in Casco Bay. Karen Stover said the colossal crustacean had a blue tint, which can be seen in the photo she shared. The picture shows the 20-pound lobster next to a 2-pound lobster for size comparison. Stover said the large lobster was an egg-bearing female, so her husband, George, returned it to the ocean. The haul of the massive lobster happened one day before the start of the Maine Lobster Festival, which begins tomorrow in Rockland. According to the Maine Lobster Festival website, the biggest lobster ever caught in Maine weighed in at 27 pounds. That lobster, nicknamed Rocky, was taken out of the waters in Cushing in 2012 and released back into the ocean.